getting audio headphones? I don't know. You tell me. You guys need audio to know. I need to know audio. This is the first day. So I don't know if the audio is working. I don't know if the audio, is the audio actually working, Ron? Or is it, or you just, no audio, still no audio. Still no audio. Come on, Pedro. Come on, Pedro. Come on, Pedro. Come on. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You think it's the mic? Well, the mic's on. Are you getting audio there? One, two, one, two. 1, 2, 1, 2.
No. Go back.
Go back where?
Go back. Put the mic back on.
The mic's on. It's never been turned off.
It's good now. It's good now.
I hear words now. Oh, you can hear me. Yay! Yay! Okay, so, you know what? Why don't you run the intro again, Pedro, so these guys can see how cool we are. And 1, and 2, and 3. All right, welcome to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhaus, and boy, are we having a good day or what, man? The audio just didn't work. We got it fixed, so now we're back, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit of fun here. So this is what's going on, guys. So right now, we're waiting for some really key earnings. I just want to let you know, Microsoft earnings just came out, and apparently they didn't do so well because Microsoft's already down almost 10 points. Now, I'm waiting for Apple's earnings. Apple's earnings is going to be what's going to, hopefully, is going to be what's going to set the market straight tomorrow. But if not, we're going to be in trouble tomorrow because if Microsoft is down and Apple is down, the market's going to tank tomorrow. So be prepared for that if that happens. So right now we're still waiting. We're going to see what Apple does. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the Delta variant and the Delta variant with COVID and what's going on with that. So basically the market is stuck in a rut because they don't know what to do with the Delta variant. And the reason for that is, hey, listen, first of all, last year we all know that the market tanked. I mean, it completely tanked when coronavirus came, and everyone was scared. Nobody knew what to do. But here's what all the investors, including myself, have learned, and what we've learned is real simple. We've learned that if something like this happens again and the market tanks, the market's going to come right back really fast. Now, because of that, the money manager's going, hey, well, I'm not going to sell off because I know it's going to come back, so why would I sell off? At the same time, there are people out there saying, hey, I'm not going to buy right now because the Delta variant might lower the market. So it's kind of stuck in a rut, and that's where the market's been for the last, pretty much few weeks. So nothing major is going on with that, and you can see it. I mean, although the S&P did hit a record, but it's hitting like it's kind of inching into the record. It's not really doing what it normally does, like boom, 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 boom. So the question now is the market going to go up or going to go down? I'm going to tell you that typically after earnings seasons, markets typically go down for a while. So you typically start to get that sell-off that comes. But we're in earnings seasons for probably the next 2 more weeks, and that's what's going to drive the market and probably drive it to a slightly higher high, and then get ready because it's going to come. So I tell people right now, have money on the sidelines, and the sidelines will make you money. So what we've been telling our students over at Investor Schooling, by the way, Investor Schooling brings you Money Chat Now, and we don't even have the commercial running. Isn't that wild? But that's fine. So Money Chat Now and Investor Schooling, we tell the people, very simply, have some money on the sidelines. So I suggest you have money on the sidelines ready to go when the market signals you. And you'll know when it signals you, some of your stocks will definitely go down to where they belong to go down. So we're still waiting here on Apple's earnings. But I do want to say that Starbucks just beat, and I'm curious to see but Starbucks, so here's the thing with earnings too. So even though Starbucks beat, and it did, even though it beat, the stock is down. Now that happens often too. We talk about that also at Investor Schooling. We talk about the fact that even if they beat, the earnings the stock could still go down. Also, a lot of times it'll happen is the stock will go down temporarily, and then it'll come back up, or it'll go up temporarily and come back down. The interesting part is hopefully we're going to have this all worked out for tomorrow. I'd like to see Facebook's earnings tomorrow because Facebook was fueled by Snap and Twitter last week, and the earnings that Snap and Twitter had were so great that Facebook just skyrocketed. So we'll have to see if it's going to be able to maintain that. Although Facebook was down, last time I looked, it was down about 6 points. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was down about 6 points. Let me see. I don't even know if, I don't know, maybe Pedro could put up the chart for that, but we could take a quick look at what it looked like today. So yeah, Facebook was actually, it was down earlier, down 6 points, but it closed down $4.64 to 367.81, which is all right. I mean, it is what it is. It's just not that great. But over the last 3 months, it's been taken off. It's been taken off. It hit 372, and again, that 372 mark was there when Snap and Twitter hit their super duper earnings. All right, I'm still waiting for Apple's earnings to come. Now it's fun because to me, I find earnings season to be like the Super Bowl for me. You know, the guy, like a lot of you guys are into sports. You watch the Super Bowl. I don't watch the Super Bowl. I watch earnings season. So I'm looking for that. And typically, Apple will have earnings right around 4:20. So we'll probably get another 7 minutes for me to try to figure out what to babble about. All right, did everybody laugh at that or no? Hey, by the way, if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, feel free to ask questions in the chat box. I can see the chat box, and you can ask questions. You know, not in the chat box, but the whatever it is, the comments box, and I'll be able to see them. If you have any questions that you want to ask, I'll be more than happy to answer that as well. All right. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, is crypto. Now, I'm not a big fan of crypto. I just want to let you know, I just threw like $15,000-$20,000 into crypto just for fun. So I have 2 cryptos. The 2 cryptos that I have, one is I have Ethereum and I have Dogecoin. Now, why did I buy Ethereum? I bought Ethereum because I thought Bitcoin was too high, and I also thought that Ethereum had a slightly different edge to it. To me, it's the same thing as gold and silver. So to me, gold and silver is like Ethereum and Bitcoin, where Bitcoin being relative to gold and Ethereum being relative to silver, where silver is lower and has a higher chance of doubling than gold does. And it's the same thing with crypto, where Bitcoin at 37 or at this point 38,000 and Ethereum at 2,300 has a better chance of Ethereum doing. So that's why I bought Ethereum. But then everybody was talking about Dogecoin, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna take the gamble and buy the Dogecoin, and that's it. So I did that, and that's fine. And you know, just so you know, so I follow it. But I'm curious to see what's going to really happen in the future with Bitcoin and with Ethereum. It's not going away, folks. You know, there was a time where I thought, hey, you know, this was going to just disappear, but it is not disappearing. So if you're going to be in Bitcoin, again, business schooling, we don't teach Bitcoin, we don't teach Ethereum, we don't teach crypto, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to watch it. So I do watch it, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy watching it. I do enjoy having it just to see what's going to happen. And look, if Dogecoin goes from, I think it's a 23 cents or something, or 20 cents, if it goes from 23 cents to 50 cents, I'm going to be really, really happy. Now, it's hit 75 cents, so that's kind of cool, too. All right, any news yet on Apple? I still got nothing coming through on Apple yet. Still earnings announcements, still waiting for the earnings announcement on Apple. You know, just so we're clear, Apple is one of the greatest companies there ever is. I mean, look, if you have an Apple iPhone, like mine, right? If you take your iPhone out, how many times has Apple said to you, you're out of data? You have no more data storage on your phone. Send us 99 cents a month, and we'll stop troubling you to ask you if you want more data. That's a brilliant business plan. They're basically telling you every single day you open up your phone, send me 99 cents, or I'm going to threaten to keep asking you for 99 cents. And eventually you give in. Now, here's the interesting part, because eventually the 99 cents goes to $4.99 when you run out of data again, and they say, hey, you ran out of data for $4.99, we'll stop bugging you this time. And then it goes to $9.99, and that's where I am now. I'm at $9.99. So I basically send Apple $120 a year extortion money just so they stay off my phone. Think about that. That's an incredible business model. There's nothing better than that business model. By the way, if you guys, real quick, if you guys have an Apple or if you have an Android, you can download the Investor Schooling app. Actually, it's real simple. Go to investorschoolingApp.com, A-P-P, investorschoolingApp.com. Download the app, and we're going to send you some free information. If you're a student or not a student, doesn't really matter. We're going to send you some free information, and one of the things that's on that app that's really, really cool is we have a video called So Much Information About Money, It's Like Drinking from a Fire Hose. That video alone is absolutely worth the time. All right, anybody else have any questions out there on Facebook? Let me know. Everybody's really really enjoying the new set. I'm hoping you like it too, because hey, we spent a lot of time building this set. I think I actually think there's still some sawdust on it, right, Pedro? I think there's still some sawdust on it. So yeah,
it's
be
a
careful,
$1 million studio.
When you come here, if you guys want to see the set, it's in a secret room. Just know that it's in a secret room, so you can't see it. All right, cool. All right, so here we go. So it was interesting because even Microsoft, the article says Microsoft surpassed expectations on the top and bottom lines, and the company also beat expectations on Azure revenue growth. By the way, if you don't know what Azure is, just to let you know what Azure is their cloud, their cloud, basically their cloud, and they sell cloud space. But Microsoft is down 6 points, and they beat. It's great stuff. So why is Microsoft down 6 points? It makes me a little bit worried about Apple and what Apple's going to do. And we'll actually see. I mean, Apple's hovering at the minus 50 cents since aftermarket, and nothing really is happening so far with it. But we're going to see it. We're going to see it pop pretty soon. What else is that over here that's important that we need to talk about? So if you guys follow CNBC, and I don't know if you can put this up, Pedro, if you could put up the CNBC screen, the actual CNBC screen that shows the front page and shows the VIX. A lot of things that are on this screen are important. One of the things that is important is the VIX. Now the VIX is up to 1930 again, 1936 again, which means that there's slight volatility in the market. Now it used to be when the VIX hit 19, there was some extreme volatility. But last year, when the VIX hit 85.90, there was so much extreme volatility that a 20-point VIX, isn't that big of a deal anymore. Kind of scary, but isn't that big of a deal anymore. So I want you guys to be watching the VIX as well. All right, cool. All right, so let's see what else we got going out here. Anything exciting? Okay, you know what I want to talk about? Alibaba. Can you put up the Alibaba chart, Pedro? So the Alibaba chart, BABA, in the last 2 days, has been scaring me because I have some stock options on BABA, and it's not making me really happy. Now, one of the things that we talk about at Investor Schooling is we say that when a stock hits a 52-week low or a 52-week high, it becomes unpredictable. And basically, here it is. We got Alibaba at a 52-week low yesterday, today. It's now in the unpredictable point. We can't really tell whether it's going to go up or down. It's likely to go up, but it's not like it's going to be like screaming going to go up kind of thing. So Alibaba kind of worries me a little bit. I do at 185. I think it's an incredible buy. If you're buying stock and not stock options, I think it's an incredible buy. I think you won't get hurt at it 185. But a stock option, you've got to get the timing right on this. And the stock option timing on this is really going to be something like I don't know, probably December, January, February to get the timing right on this. So I would be really careful with this. So by the way, Google just had breaking news that their advertising revenue has risen 69% from last year. So if Google's advertising revenue has risen 69% from last year, I'm curious to see, and there it was. I wanted to see how Facebook reacted to that, and sure enough, Facebook is already up 6.5 points. So now Facebook now is reacting to Snap, Twitter, and Google. And now it's up 6.5 points. This is after market. It's up 6.5 points because it's reacting to Google's great advertising revenue going up, which is fantastic. Look, Facebook's going to hit 400. I'm going to say by the end of the year, but it's going to happen way before the end of the year that it's going to hit 400. It's just really a question of whether you want to risk being in there at Facebook at 400 or not. But it's so clearly it's going to blow right through 400. I'm even thinking 500 by this time next year. 500 is a no-brainer in my thought. In fact, I didn't understand why Facebook was so low for so long. That didn't make any sense. Anyway, we're still waiting on Apple's earnings, so I'm excited about Apple's earnings. You know why I'm excited about Apple's earnings and not Google? Because I'm in Apple and I'm not in Google. So that's why I'm excited about Apple's earnings, and I'm just waiting to see what Apple is going to bring, and then we'll try to analyze those earnings when that happens. You guys want to do a countdown? I'm going to say we got 1 more minute to Apple's earnings is going to be my guess because it's already past the 420 mark, and it's going to happen any second now. So we'll see how that reacts. All right, so getting back to this Alibaba, I was talking about that before. I'm scared, man. It's not that great. Okay, you guys want to know some really good plays though? Here's some really good plays. Some really good plays would be all of the travel stocks: CCL, RCL, AAL, BA. All of them are going to be great stocks to own, and also great stock options to play if you get the timing right. But let's talk about the stocks themselves. So CCL, just to give you an idea, CCL, it closed today below 23. I'm sorry, below 23, which is fine. That's it's not that big of a deal. But if you look at the 5-year chart, because for a minute you want to look at the 5-year chart just to see where it was before. You want to see what it was before. Again, before COVID, we were in the 40s and 50s. In fact, we were peaking in the 60s and 70s for CCL. That's how great this stock was. And the stock's at 22. So to me, if you want to take all your money and just buy CCL stock and sit on it and don't look at it anymore because you'll have your nervous moments, you're going to do really, really well with this. In fact, also the same thing with RCL. You're going to see some really good stuff at RCL. Same exact thing. Right now it's at 80. I'd like to see it below 75 again. I made some money on it last week in a stock option, bought it, sold it, moved on. That's fine. But I'd like to see that. And AAL is another one where it's sitting right now at 21 something is fantastic. So right now it's at 21 and a half. This is a fantastic play. Now, if you want to buy the stock, great, buy the stock. I also think this will hit 35, no problem. Definitely within a year, it'll hit 35. There's no doubt. So you'll make at least 50 to 100% on your money somewhere in there. But the real point is, if you're going to do stock options on this, if you buy a $20 strike price and you buy it into February, just sit and wait it out because you're going to do really, really well with that. All right, any news on Apple yet? Still nothing. We're still waiting for some great news on Apple. Nothing yet. I'm still waiting, and I got it out. I plan on going 5 more minutes here, so we'll have to see where that goes. All right, what else happened today in the stock market that might be important? Oh, I don't know, but did you see that Biden might actually do a mask mandate for all federal employees? He's out of his freaking mind. We already know that masks don't work, but we're not going to go there. I don't want to go there this time, but we will. All right, so the mask mandate is something that's important. What else is actually set that's important too? So anyway, real quick, hold on. The Fed was a little bit worried about the virus, which we talked about already, and they were concerned about the Fed again. They're gonna, they may taper the bond market, but who cares? It's not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. My suggestion is you sit there and you play the stocks just as you would play them if there was nothing else going on, because that's really what's happening right now. Is nothing is really going on. There is, yes, there is the COVID-19 virus. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal anymore. It was scary when it was scary. It's not happening now, and I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. So if you're in Facebook or if you're in Google, you're probably pretty happy right now. I want to actually see what Google went up 122 points already, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, Facebook followed that lead, and it's up 6.5 points, and that's going to be an interesting play tomorrow. I really want to see what Facebook's earnings are tomorrow, because that's when they're going to be announcing. I'm sorry, actually, they're announcing their earnings on the 30th, so you still have some time if you wanted to play that play. You still have some time in there. All right, so right now, Apple is sitting there at literally at the close. It's not doing anything. It hasn't moved. It went down 2.22 points before 4 o'clock, before the market closed, but we're waiting to see what's going to happen with the earnings. Is the earnings going to shoot it up or shoot it down? I'm going to predict that Apple will go up 6 to 7 points or go down 6 to 7 points. So here's where we are. If it goes down 6 to 7 points, just hold back a little bit longer and look for 135, and I would get in. If it goes up 6 points, it doesn't really matter because you've already missed it. But let's see if there's a pullback one day, and maybe we'll get back into this range again and see how that affects it. So if you guys are like me, I sit there and I watch the computer. That's what I'm doing right now. I watch the computer and I watch for these movements, these big movements. And you'll see eventually, you'll actually see before the announcement actually comes out, you'll see it like all of a sudden a movement in Apple. You'll see a boom. It'll just boom. It'll explode into wherever it goes, either up or down. And come on, I'm waiting to see it because I want to talk about it. I'm just so excited about it. Right now, it's up 30 cents, waiting for the earnings announcement to come out. And it's not here yet. It's so disappointing. But it's just so disappointing. I can't wait to see it, and it's going to come out any second now. So we're up 23 cents right now. Nothing exciting happening with that. But here we go. By the way, the interesting thing too with the volume, I mean, it's already the volume on Apple since the close is over 4.5 million shares are traded since the close. Since the close at 4 o'clock, so we're talking the last half an hour, 4.5 million shares traded, and that is fantastic when you think about it. When you think about how good, how many people are actually watching the Apple report right now and waiting for it to happen. I want to pull out something else to see if there's anything else out there I want to look at. By the way, Starbucks, like I said, they beat, and they're down. The stock is down $4 after market, which again is not that great. It's not helpful that it's down. It's down. All right, we're still waiting to see Apple's earnings. Nothing exciting there. Oh, there happened to be an article too earlier today on Apple about chips. So there was the chip shortage, which is kind of interesting. By the way, if you're trying to buy a car nowadays, you're going to find cars are difficult to buy because of the chip shortage. I actually I was in a Ford dealer the other day, and I happened to ask the guy about the new thing that they call the Mustang, which I still don't understand why Ford calls this thing a Mustang. I'm actually curious to see what Ford stock's doing at the moment, now that I brought them up. So Ford's still sitting there at 13.8, which is actually pretty fantastic. Their earnings date is tomorrow, so we'll actually talk about Ford tomorrow and the earnings as well, because that'll be great to talk about as well. But Ford has this thing called the Mustang, which is not a Mustang. If anybody's a Mustang fan knows it's not a Mustang, it's electric. It's the electric car, and they called it a Mustang. Why they called it a Mustang, I'll never know, but they called it a Mustang. And I'm just curious. I asked the salesman. I said, "Hey, what's the story with the Mustang? Can I see it?" He goes, "Oh, we can't even get them because of the chip shortage." So that's what's happening everywhere else. And Apple is saying that they're not really facing a chip shortage problem. They have everything they need. So there you go. You got the phones that they need. You got the computers that they need. You've got the servers they need. But most importantly, Apple makes money on subscription services. They don't even care if they don't even care if they're selling their products or not. Their products isn't their money. My belief is if Apple never sold another iPhone again, they'd make more money than every company out there. They'd be $1 trillion company and a multi-trillion dollar, probably the next $2 trillion company. And I think that's even possible in my lifetime that they will be a $2 trillion company. It's even possible that'll happen in the next 10 years. That'll be a $2 trillion company. That's how big it will be. All right, still no earnings, and it is 4:29. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes. If it doesn't happen, well, we're going to have to talk about it tomorrow on the next episode of Money Chat Now. Hey, listen, if you guys like this show, please like it on YouTube. Please understand this was our first time, and we just kind of ran it out just to see if we could run it. We're planning on doing this every day and doing a little bit of market recap every day and talking to you a little bit more about it. I promise I'll be a little more prepared too. But since we had the thing, we had it all ready to go, we decided to just do a quick run on it to see where it is. So Apple just jumped to $1.50, which I don't think that's enough to really show me that the earnings are out yet. But I think there's a lot of anticipation. There's $2, so there might be a little bit of something going on here. We're probably going to see it any second now. So let's see what happens. Here it comes. Nope, nothing still. I got nothing up. It's still sitting there about $1 above. So it's really nothing. It's just anticipation. Earnings anticipation is a really good time to buy and make money in the stocks because earnings anticipation actually drives the stock up further than the actual earnings will, which is quite often the case. So we're gonna actually see now. It was just a quick surge. A couple of people jumped in to want to buy it because they thought maybe the Apple earnings are going to be good. They're probably hearing little rumors. They're probably hearing little things going, "Hey, let me get in before it happens." But most likely those rumors are just rumors and it's nothing exciting. So let's see if we get any movement yet. Nope, we're still up at about $1.50. Nothing exciting happening yet. Oh man, I want this to pop. I want to have a little bit of fun here and show you guys on our really cool studio. Apple right there. Is it Apple right there, Pedro? Is it right there? Because I want to see if Apple's right there. If it's right there, I want to see this thing pop and I want to talk about there it is. Earnings are out and here's the numbers. Bum, ba-da-bum. All right, let's see what's going on with Apple's numbers. So real quick, So yeah, so EPS was $1.30 versus $1. That's incredible. Their revenue was $81.4 billion versus $73.3 billion. That's incredible, right? So the iPhone revenue was $34 billion. The services revenue was $16 billion. Their other revenue was $7.5 billion. Mac revenue was $8 million. And billion. iPad revenue $7 billion. You know, it's funny when you talk about iPads, right? You talk about how funny that is. That I have like 20 of them now. I mean, you can't see the entire studio, but we run a lot of our stuff with iPads. So the breaking news on CNBC is Apple demolishes earnings expectations with iPhone sales surging nearly 50%. So again, let's go back to the chart and see what's going on with that and see where Apple is moving right now. You would expect Apple to be flying, right? This is the craziest thing. You would expect Apple to be on fire right now. Apple demolishes earnings expectations with iPhone sales surging nearly 50%. And it's up a whole 30 cents. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys today. And this is Money Chat Now. I'm Larry Steinhaus. And this show is brought to you by Investor Schooling. And we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And we will talk about Facebook's earnings and Ford's earnings. Take care. Have a great night.